What's up, guys? AverageKiwiGuy here. How y'all doing? So I'm hanging in Morgana in front of the Crystal Tower, kind of a bit of an ominous thing for Shadowbringers. My girl here, Talia, we're just sort of having a look at all the new Machinist changes. Probably the current existing class, they got the most changes. Like, they got a lot of changes, and they needed it. Machinist was one of the weaker classes that needed a bit of help. It was very clunky. It had a lot of mechanics that just weren't that nice to use and was a pain in the ass and stuff. It was still a fun class. I enjoy, my time playing Machinist. I really do. But it could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot better, and I think they have made it that way. I think they've done a good job. Looking at these changes, I think we're in for a good thing. So we're just going to do sort of a general sort of overview. I'm not going to go into like specific details of everything that got buffed, everything that got thing. We're just going to go over sort of the big stuff, the general idea of how Machinist is going to run. Just to see if you guys are interested in playing it, and if you guys want, like, to see the changes and stuff. That's how we're doing it. Okay. So the big sort of things that were taken out of Machinist: no more ammunition, no more reloads, no more quick reload, no more reload, none of it. No more worrying about ammunition for certain abilities, nothing, none of that. All gone, all gone. Beautiful thing, absolutely beautiful thing. Takes a bit of the clunkiness out. Takes a bit of the just like, oh crap, I gotta have the ammo, like, oh yeah, okay, that's good, all that stuff. It just, yeah, it takes a lot of that out. It makes it a lot more fun. And also, no more Gore Sparrow. No more Gore Sparrow. As you can see on my thing, I have not equipped the Gore Sparrow because it's not going to be needed no more. It's not going to be needed no more. Which is, it's a good thing. I mean, we're still going to have the heat gauge, but the heat gauge is going to work in a different way. And when the heat reaches the basically when you overheat, that's not gonna completely just crash your DPS when the Gore Sparrow goes away. That it just will. The way that I have seen it, you're gonna reach a period of overheat, which I'd imagine you're gonna have more damage. So this way overheat works at the moment. And also you'll be able to use a certain ability that's in overheat. And then you'll just go back down, and then you'll build that heat gauge again. So that's how it's going to work, which I quite like. I like that a lot. So the kind of the meat and potatoes of Machinist is essentially the three main shots. So you got split shot, slug shot, and then clean shot. Those are kind of your meat and potatoes of Machinist. So they've changed the way those work slightly. So split shot and slug shot will increase heat by 5 right from the get-go. There will be no, like, it won't generate heat. Basic split shot, basic slug shot, and basic clean shot will all generate heat. So split and slug will generate by 5. Clean shot, however, that will increase it by 5 also, but also the battery gauge will go up by 10. So that's going to be a battery gainer as well. So that's quite nice. And they also buffed those shots too, which is quite nice. At least the combo damage a little bit there. They have buffed that up. So that's quite nice. And that, like I said, no ammo worries. No ammo worries. Don't have to worry. It's cool. So I'm quite happy about that. Then they've also changed how and when you get heated shot. The heated versions of those shots, sorry. So first up, you'll get heated split shot at 54. So this is going to be like an upgrade to your split shot. So once you hit 54, you learn a trait, and that trait will upgrade split shot. So you'll no longer have basic split shot from then on. Unless obviously you do stuff that sinks you down, and yeah, so you'll get that new get the heat shot, the heat split shot animation, which is very cool, by the way. The heated shots animations are far superior to the standard ones that you get at the start. So it makes part of playing Machinist quite fun when you get those ones. So yeah, that will be a thing. And they will essentially do the same thing as what the basic one did. I think there's a bit of a damage increase, and it will increase the heat by 5 also. So you'll get heated split shot at 54. You'll get heated slug shot at 60. So you'll slowly upgrade these as you go through the leveling process. And then you'll get heated clean shot at 64. So that's when you'll have all 3 upgraded. So I'm glad they're putting those cooler animations further back. So it makes leveling, especially through like Heaven's Ward and stuff, a lot more interesting. Like there's some things to look forward to as you go through. And it just makes Machinists look a bit cooler. So that's the thing. So I quite like that. So yeah, so that's how the shots are working. No more ammunition, and they're changing how you get heated shots. So when you hit, once you've got 64, all your shots will be heated. It's even if you have 0 heat gauge, So it's just what the shot's called now. So I quite like that. So also Gore Round and Ricochet got changed as well. So these two have kind of got the benefit of the new charge system that they're bringing into the battle system for Final Fantasy XIV. Gore Round, they've actually lowered the damage and increased the recast time, and this is how I'm working it out just by the information that I've seen and stuff. So you'll have up to 3 charges on Gore Round and Ricochet. However, there is a trait called the Charge Action Mastery that you get at 74 that gives you that 3rd round. So I'm guessing you start with 2 and then you'll get the 3rd one at 74. So that's how I'm interpreting it. So yeah, so you'll have charges. So the increased cast time and then the lower damage will be kind of sort of compensated by having those extra charges available and the extra uses available, immediate uses available at your disposal. So that's quite nice. Same with Ricochet. Ricochet's done the same thing. They've actually, lowered the damage, but they've changed the way that damage is distributed throughout the mobs, throughout how many, like the trash pool that you've done, the trash pack you're attacking. Sorry. So you'll deal 150 potency to the first enemy, and then you'll do 50% of that attack to everyone else. So it doesn't dissipate down. It's just 50% to all the others. So that very last guy is not going to get a little tickle. It's all the same, from the second guy all the way through to the rest. So that's quite nice. And like I said, has those charges. They also halved the recast time of Ricochet. So Ricochet was 60. They've dropped it down to 30. So that's quite nice. And that kind of plays into how Wildfire works now. So Wildfire, the way it works at the moment is all based off the amount of damage you do. So you do all the damage, and then 25% of that damage becomes the Wildfire explosion. So it's all like boom, 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 and then kind of hope that you did enough damage to generate a decent Wildfire. Now, Wildfire is based off every weapon skill you used within that 10 seconds. So now it's not based off all the damage you do, it's based off how many abilities you've used within that 10 seconds. So it increases by 150 for every weapon skill used. Now, the only thing I have with Wildfire is that I don't know below level 80 like what that potency actually is, because at level 78 you get a trait that improves the potency to 150. So just from the things that I'm seeing, I'm not seeing what that standard one was. So I don't know if it's like 120 or 100, not sure. But at level 78, your Wildfire will become better. It will become more potent. So that's the thing. and I don't mind that. But I like that because with the charge system and stuff in there, so you could put a lot more insta shots in. I'm assuming still have rapid fire and stuff. I don't know for certain on that because everything I hadn't seen that no one really talked about rapid fire. So yeah, it's definitely sort of like you do as much sort of like attacks as you can within that 10 seconds. But also with Wildfire is that when you use Wildfire, that action, the Wildfire action, will turn into an action called Detonator. And you'll be able to detonate Wildfire whenever you wish within that 10 seconds. So either elapse and it'll just explode on its own, or you can actually do it yourself. So that's quite handy if, say, something, the boss does something and you kind of, you have to, I don't know, you have to, detonate it early. That's the thing. So you're not wasting all of it. Like, yeah, you didn't get to do as much damage as you wanted. Like, you didn't get to use as many weapon skills as you wanted, but you can still get something out of it. So it's more control. And I think more control is always better. More control is always better. So I like that a lot. I think that's very cool. You still have your Rook turret. So they've changed how turrets work in this. So you'll have your Rook turret all the way till level 80, and that's where you get your robot. And we'll talk about the robot once we sort of get to near the end of this. So the way the Rook turret works now is it's actually on a duration. It's not something you throw down and it's there for the entire fight. It is essentially going to be part of your rotation. It's going to be part of how you do things. It's linked to the battery gauge. Essentially, when you put it out, it uses that battery gauge to determine its duration. And it can only remain out there for 15 seconds. So no matter how much battery gauge you have, if that exceeds 15 seconds, it will just shut down. You will still be able to overdrive it, and that orders it to do a big attack, a big 800 potency attack. And then after that, it will shut down immediately. So you'll still have that little friend, that little Rook turret beside you. No more Bishop turret. Way I'm seeing it, no Bishop turret. But you have a Rook turret there. So it's just going to be part of your rotation now. It's not something you just throw out there before the boss fight starts and then basically forget about it and let it just do its own thing. It's something you got to think about as you go through. So I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. I kind of like how that works. So it'll be interesting to see how... And they've also apparently tweaked the targeting on it and stuff and kind of reworked how it all works. So I'm interested to see how the Rook... The Rook turret works. So I like that. I think that's something quite interesting there. Hypercharge. So they've changed Hypercharge from being a turret-based thing to a U-based thing. So Hypercharge now will essentially overheat you. So you use Hypercharge, it overheats you. It costs 50 heat gauge, but you'll gain overheat, and I'm assuming overheat still gives you that damage buff and things like that, just from what I'm reading into this. You will learn that at 30, so that's going to be part of your early, basically right from the start of when you unlock Machinist, you will have Hypercharge, and you have that for 8 seconds. So, and also while you are overheated, you'll gain access to be able to use, if you have it unlocked, auto crossbow. So auto crossbow is only usable when you're overheated, and this seems to be one of the only abilities that is locked to overheat. So at least from what I could tell, so that's not too bad. It does 180 potency to all enemies in a cone in front of you. So that'll be something that you can do in when you trash pulls and stuff. So that's quite nice, and it looked badass as hell in the video. So I like that. That's a nice addition there. Kind of getting into some of the new stuff now. Tactician. So I know Tactician's actually not new. It was a role action that used to help with TP regen. TP is no longer a thing now, so they're repurposing it to become a specific Machinist ability. That's going to become the Machinist's reduced damage buff for you and party wide. That's a 10% buff for 15 seconds. Same as Bard's Troubadour, and then also Dancer has one as well. And those cannot stack. So if you got a Bard or a Dancer in your group, like, make sure you're not using it at the same time as them, or else it's just wasted. I don't know if it will prevent you from using it. I'm not sure on that one. It'll be interesting to see when Bards and Machinists, or Bards and Dancers, because there's gonna be Dancers in every freaking group. We know that's gonna happen. If they use it, then you can't use it. Like, it's just restricted, and you won't be able to activate it, or you'll activate it and it'll just waste, and you'll just have that 10% gone to waste. So that's quite nice. Drill is something you learn at 58. It does 400 potency. It's quite nice. And increases the battery by 10. And it will share a recast time with Bioblaster. So this is an off cooldown thing. Off the global cooldown. Drill looked badass as hell. Like, seeing that in the video, it looked really, really cool. So I'm excited to use Drill. And you get that through Heaven's Ward. So they're definitely putting a lot of the new stuff through the leveling content. So just because you haven't leveled Machinist yet, you'll still gain access to all that new stuff as you level it. It's very cool. It's a very, very cool thing. I think they've done a good job there. Speaking of Bioblaster, that will be the first new ability you get to use. You'll get that at 72. Does 50 potency to everyone in front of you. Kind of acts a little bit like Flamethrower in a way, but it will actually leave a dot on whoever gets hit, and that will do 60 potency for 15 seconds. So it's kind of a nice thing. Definitely, in trash packs and stuff. It'd be interesting to see if that dot is worth putting on single targets. I'm not sure. Especially like when you're using Drill as well. I don't know how that's going to work out. So that's something we'll all have to kind of figure out what to do. So one thing I did miss actually is Hotshot. So Hotshot currently is a damage buff. So you shoot it, it's always like, it's a buff that you keep up constantly when you play Machinist. Now it is basically a damage thing. It's just part of your damage abilities. You'll learn it at level 4 instead of 30. It will do 200 potency, and it'll increase the battery gauge by 20. So, and it's off global cooldown as well. So that's quite nice. So this is just something that you'll keep on cooldown as you're going through. Keeps that battery gauge ticking. Obviously, you won't want to use it when your battery gauge is, you don't want to waste that battery gauge, that 20. So that's definitely something to consider, that management. But no more buff to worry about. No more buff to worry about. It's not a thing anymore. And then that will upgrade to Air Anchor, which is that like shot thing that we saw in the video, and all the chains came out and stuff. That will upgrade at 76, so you'll no longer have Hotshot, you'll have Air Anchor. It does 400 potency, and it gives increases the battery by 20. So I like that a lot. They don't want you to have all the old shots for too long, which I quite like. They're definitely trying to make it a cool class, like a fun class to play, and I appreciate that. I really do. I did mention the enhanced fire traits that you get at 78. You also get the charged actions at 74, so that fills the gaps there. That's the one that increases the charge amounts of Gore Round and Ricochet, so you'll gain 3 instead of 2. I'm assuming. And then we get to the coup de grace, the robot, the mech, whatever you like to call it. It's called Automation Queen. So it's the queen. You know, probably one of the most powerful, probably the most powerful chess piece. So makes sense. So this will essentially replace your turret. This will replace your turret. So you'll no longer have a rook turret when you're at 80. You will have the robot. So it will work the same way as the turret did. It's based off your battery gauge. It has a 20-second duration. So as long as you have enough battery gauge to fill that 20 seconds, you're good. So once that 20 seconds expires, it'll shut down and go away. So it's part of your rotation, part of your stuff there. It has some abilities. It has a charge. It has a punch and stuff that will handle on its own. It does have Queen Overdrive. So Rook Overdrive will turn into Queen Overdrive, and that will use Pile Bunker, which was that big sort of punch, and then the pile driver comes out of its wrist and sort of blasts it and stuff. That will do 800 potency. So it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice thing. I kind of hope, like, you know, kind of like how you can glamour summoner things. Like, imagine if you could glamour the robot. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, no, I am looking forward to the robot. I'm looking forward to the robot. I think it's gonna be quite nice. Like, it was a little bit like, whoa, like, where does this come from? But I think they're just going crazy with Machinist. They're like, look, Machinist has been kind of meh for like 2 expansions. We're going nuts with this one. We're gonna let you have everything. So, I mean, overall, you look at everything and how it's all sort of coming together for Machinist. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. Like, in my other video, I've done another video for Bard, which is my main currently. I'm happy with the way Bard's looking as well. I am literally in a toss-up between Bard and Machinist and what I'm going to play going through Shadowbringers. I am more on the Bard side because that's my main and that's like what I've always played. But looking at some of the stuff from Machinist, man, like, it looks like a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Just sort of putting it all together and stuff. I like it a lot. I think it's definitely gonna be a fun class to play, and I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it. But yeah. Alright guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to be up, you know, sort of just basically doing all this Final Fantasy 14 stuff. Going to go through pretty much all of the classes, even the ones I don't really play. So those ones will obviously be a bit shorter. And also the different system changes and stuff. We'll do a video on that as well. So I'm going to have a ton of videos coming out. So you really should subscribe if you want to keep up to date with me and see like what I'm doing and stuff and all the new things. It'll be a smart thing to do. Nah, if you want to, I'd appreciate it. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out with me. Big thank you to all the new subscribers, guys. We've been on a bit of a sub roll. Just awesome. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it hugely. I think we broke 2,800, so that's very cool. Looking for that 3,000. Looking for that 3,000. That'd be a cool goal to hit. But big thank you, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Bye.